Hello guys, one more time, welcome to Ring Royalty. My name is Alexis, as you already know, and today we are finally here in the 1-year anniversary video of Ring Royalty. I can't believe it has already been a year since this project started. I am ecstatic, I am so excited, I just can't express it with words. Thank you for all your support. This wouldn't be possible without you. And to celebrate this monumental moment, this milestone in my life, I am going to bring you something that you love. And that's me whining and criticizing things. Because today we have a new episode of Everything Wrong With. And the topic of today is going to be everything wrong with WWE's top 50 best women's wrestlers of all time. Now, don't get me wrong, in this top we have a lot of very accurate positions, but there are some others that were really not what we expected, and I guess I can speak for everyone. Now, I am going to explain in 5 points, as always, what are the wrongs in this top 50. This was created by WWE. If you haven't seen it, I'm gonna leave the link down below. I know I'm a bit late for this video, but at least it is here now, right? Alright, let's get down to business. The first point that I want to highlight is adding women with no accolades. For this one, I'm specifically talking about two women, and those would be Sonya Deville and Lacey Evans. I like them both, but if you see it overall, do they really deserve to be in this top? I don't really think so. They have no accolades in WWE. We have Sonya at 47 over Toni Storm, former UK Women's Champion and Mae Young Classic winner, and over Kaylee Ray, the longest reigning UK Women's Champion ever. Is that really deserving? I don't think so. Whereas Lacey Evans is on spot 39, on top of women like Layla, who was part of one of the most iconic tag teams ever in Laycool, a former Divas Champion and Women's Champion, and she's also on top of Eve Torres, 3-time Divas Champion, and had one of the most amazing heel turns at WrestleMania when she betrayed Zack Ryder. So I believe this is a pretty inaccurate position for both of them. In my opinion, they shouldn't have been included, not because they are bad wrestlers or anything, but because they haven't had that impact in the women's division and WWE history. They haven't done it that yet. So that's why I don't agree with having Lacey Evans and Sonya Deville in this top 50. I kind of know why they did it. I mean, it's going to be a little bit rude maybe, but you know, WWE loves marketing. They love to be good on the public eye, and Sonya Deville being the representation of the LGBT community, and Lacey Evans being a former Marine, they are trying to be inclusive, and that's why they added them. Because if you think about it, they haven't really done anything memorable in WWE yet. Now, this point takes me to my second reason why this top flopped, and that would be ignoring legendary women. The two women that I would include to replace both Lacey and Sonya in this top 50 would obviously be Candice Michelle and Tori Wilson. Candice Michelle is a former women's champion. She came all the way to being a Diva Search contestant to one of the main superstars in the WWE Women's Division. She had an amazing feud with Beth Phoenix, and she proved everyone wrong when she was improving time and time again, not letting everyone just put her in the pretty face category. That's so awesome to me. And also, she had one of the scariest injuries in women's wrestling history. Many people still remember that today, and that's something memorable because even though she was injured that bad, she still wanted to come back and prove that she could be one of the top contenders for the women's championship again and again. So she loves the business and she definitely deserves a spot here. When we talk about Tori Wilson, she just was the face of the SmackDown division for years, and for me it's just a crime that she wasn't included on this top 50. Maybe Tori didn't have any accolades, but ask some non-wrestling fans about Tori Wilson and I'm pretty sure they know or heard about her before. Whereas that wouldn't happen with many of the women in the current division, in the current product. So that's why I think that both Candice and Tori really deserve a spot in this top 50. They not only made their mark in their era, but they transcended to future generations, and that's what this top 50 is all about. Moving higher on the list, we have reason number 3, and a lot of people would probably bash me for it, but it would be including Ronda Rousey in the top 10. I know you're gonna say Ronda Rousey made a huge impact. She was already a big household name before coming to the WWE. She was one of the longest reigning Raw Women's Champions ever. She main evented WrestleMania along with Becky and Charlotte. However, we're talking about the top 50 women of all time. And Ronda Rousey only had 1 year in WWE. Was it a good year? Yeah, it was. She made a lot of changes in the division and she brought a lot of attention to it too. However, putting her in the top 10, I feel like takes away some credit from other women that busted their ass for years to get the WWE Women's Division on the map. Women like Mickie James, Beth Phoenix, or Michelle McCool are out of the top 10 just because Ronda needed a spot there. I don't think that's fair. I'm not saying that Ronda Rousey is bad. I think she was a really good wrestler. She improved wonders very fast. However, in just a year, it's impossible that you make an impact that big compared to other women. And if we check the accolades, okay, she was Raw Women's Champion. She was already a main eventer of WrestleMania. But we're ignoring people like Beth Phoenix, 4-time Women's Champion, Hall of Famer, Mickie James, 6-time Women's Champion, Michelle McCool, Women of the Year, and also multi-time Women's Champion. So what's going on there? I know that a lot of Ronda fans would disagree and tell me, no, you know what, Ronda did this, Ronda did that, she deserves her spot, she's one of the biggest names in the whole world. I get it. When they were describing what was the criteria for this top 50, they were talking about the impact, memorable moments, accolades, and all of that regarding WWE. So taking that into consideration for me is just illogical to have Ronda Rousey this high on the list when other women with more accolades are just beneath her. It makes no sense to me. For point number 4, I am going to bring something personal. Probably some people would agree, others would not. And that would be not having Sasha Banks in top 5. Sasha Banks is one of the greatest women's wrestlers ever. She has outshined many people over the years despite not getting many opportunities. I know she's one of the 4 horsewomen, but compare her career to Becky's, Bayley's, or Charlotte's, she's the horsewoman that got the end of the stick. Many of the reasons why these other 3 horsewomen got a lot of opportunities were because of Sasha Banks. She elevated all of them. She made magic with Charlotte back in 2016. She made Becky's Raw title reign relevant again when she came back with her blue hair and that Hell in a Cell match. She completely stole the show with Bayley in 2020, and she has delivered night in and night out with many different rivals. She can have a good match with absolutely anyone on the roster, and that's something very difficult to get. Many people don't really have chemistry with everyone. And the reason why this happens is because Sasha Banks can change her wrestling style. She can be a high flyer, she can be a technical wrestler, sometimes she can be a powerhouse, depending who she is wrestling with. So I just won't pass the fact that she's not included in the top 5. Now, the first 2 spots are well deserved and I agree with them. I think maybe Sasha should be in either Asuka's or Becky's place, because Becky had 1 good year, but overall her main roster run hasn't been that great besides her main character, which was spectacular. And then Asuka hasn't really done much on the main roster. She had a lot of accolades, but none of them is meaningful. So I'm just gonna state now that Sasha Banks was definitely robbed out of the top 5 from this list. I think she deserves it, and it's such a shame that she didn't got it. But in my heart, I know that she deserves to be in that top 5 list. Now, my 5th and final spot is debatable, and that would be Stephanie McMahon at spot 23. I know probably backstage Stephanie McMahon has been a big influence to elevate the women's division and give women more opportunities in the company. I am not sure if she should be included, as the rest of the women in the top are just wrestlers, whereas Stephanie is an executive for the company. To be at spot 23, this high on the list, I am not sure if she should be included. Maybe yes, maybe no. Tell me what do you think about that down below. I am not saying that Stephanie doesn't deserve it, but I feel like the criteria doesn't really fit compared to the rest. I mean, she has maybe a lot of influence and a lot of power to improve the division, but that's not something that you can compare with just wrestlers. That's something they have to do behind the scenes. I'm going to leave that open to debate. I feel like Stephanie McMahon inside the ring did a couple things. I mean, she's a former women's champion, but it's not like she was one of the biggest wrestlers ever. She had that iconic feud with Brie Bella, and also she had that very interesting mixed tag match at WrestleMania where she and Triple H team up against Kurt Angle and Ronda Rousey. So I guess you can tell that Stephanie had some iconic moments, that's true. Back in the Attitude Era, having feuds with her own father, having feuds with Sable, Trish Stratus. I mean, she does have a lot of interesting segments and memorable segments and matches. But to be this high on the list, I'm not sure. I feel like there's something off about it. But as I said in the beginning, I'm going to leave that open for everyone to decide. Should she be in this top? Yes or no? And especially, should she be this high on the top, spot 23? I'm gonna read your comments down below. Alright, so this was my ew, everything wrong with WWE's top 50 women's wrestlers of all time. Now, I have criticized a lot of things because, you know, we're here to criticize the downs, but there were some ups as well. For example, I love the fact that Trish Stratus was number 1. I was scared that Charlotte was going to take that spot. I was surprised to see some women that high on the list, especially Chyna at number 4. Not because she doesn't deserve it. She has a lot of accolades and she broke down barriers for women when this was a male-oriented company. But, I mean, you know the drama that happened between the company and Chyna. I know that probably the 4th spot is well deserved, but it is only given to her because she passed away. I doubt that if Chyna was alive, she would get this recognition, which is sad. And a couple other women that had many different problems through the years with WWE but got decent spots would be AJ Lee at 19 and Gail King at 33. I was pretty sure that Gail King was going to be erased from this top as she didn't do much in WWE. She was basically a jobber. The only accolade that she has is winning the championship on her first night. When it comes to AJ Lee, we all know the CM Punk dramas, and they pretty much ignore her every time that they talk about the women's history. So I was expecting for her to be not like gone from the list because that would be such an insult, but maybe lower. So I am happy for them as well. I hope that you enjoyed this video. I know it's probably a little bit short, or I don't know, maybe when I'm editing I realize that it's not as short as I thought, but you get what I mean. Also, look at this fancy clothing. I had to dress for the occasion. I am not even sure if you can see the bow tie as it is black and my shirt's black, but I was kind of in a rush, so sorry for that. But once again, I want to thank you for your support. This will be it for this week. I really hope that you enjoyed this content and tell me down below which are the things that you disagree with these top 50 women's wrestlers of all time in WWE. My name is Alexis, as you already know. Here is my Instagram if you want to contact me or anything, and I will see you guys next week with another video. Stay safe, goodbye!